Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with episode 2 of the STiKS. Welcome to the show today. I got a lot of great stuff to talk to you guys about. Unfortunately, my computer gets fixed like 4 hours from now, so I don't have a special guest on the show today. I'm the special guest, and you're the special guest. So we're going to make it happen together. As I'm talking, if you want to chime in and just talk out loud and seem weird, as long as none of your family's around, that's fine. You know, you can feel like you're my special guest, like you're doing the show with me and we're co-casting. I will have a co-caster on the show next week, but I've had such issues with my computer that I'm just going to get it fixed because I want to provide the best content I can for you guys. So next week I will have a guest on the show. I know I said I would this week. However, you're the guest. And so welcome to my show. It's great to have you. It's great to have you on. The Titan fell this week. The Titan has fallen, and here's the deal. I asked you guys a couple of questions on Twitter. You know, this game looks amazing. It looks awesome. I'm sure you guys have all seen gameplay. It's been spammed all over YouTube like crazy. Beta codes have been spammed all over Twitter. So I'm sure most of you have played as well. I asked you guys a couple of questions on Twitter. I said two things. Who's the best competitive Call of Duty player on Titanfall? And does Titanfall have a chance of taking any first-person shooter market share away from Call of Duty? So to the first question, hands down, every single one of you said either Karma or Clayster. No other name was even thrown in. It was either Karma or Clayster, and it was pretty even. I've watched both of them play, and yes, they are both amazing. I wish that there was a 1v1 option, like they could just put a little room like they had on Halo, and you could just fight each other. You know, I wish there was like a cage match on Titanfall with no Titans, just go up against each other and go crazy, and we could see who's the better player. But yes, Clayster and Karma are both very, very good at this game. The second question I asked you guys is, on a scale of 1 to 5, how big of a chance, with 5 being the best, how big of a chance does Titanfall have in actually being a Titan killer, in actually taking out Call of Duty? And 2 was the average. Now, some of you were being silly, and I got some -17s, a lot of zeros, I got some -1s, -2s, not a single 5. No one even said that that for sure Titanfall is going to take out Call of Duty, and they had good reason. A lot of the reasons you guys said, which I agree with, were it's not a multi-platform game right now. It's not on multiple consoles, which is very true. That definitely eliminates its possibility of taking out Call of Duty. It doesn't have competitive, which a lot of you guys are like, well, that's good. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying it's good that it doesn't have competitive on Twitter. However, competitive just promotes the longevity of a game. It keeps the game interesting, and competitive Call of Duty has grown so much, and it's what's helped the franchise stay alive, I think. And so competitive in the long run, I think, will be good for Titanfall. Something else that you guys have said is that it doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, you know, and that's something that Nadeshot mentioned before the game dropped, and I agree. I agree with Nadeshot. You know, not having skill-based matchmaking like Halo and not having the ability to play people that are at your skill level is going to change the game. It's going to make the game a little repetitive. Now, this is just a beta, so there's a lot more that can be dropped in the future. However, I will say that as someone who has only watched and not played Titanfall, that it does get a little redundant. It does get a little repetitive with the gameplay, and it's the same thing if you watch, you know, 100 plus gameplays all day on YouTube. Eventually you're like, okay, you got to do something different. Get 100 plus with a shotgun, or get 100 plus with no kill streaks. Something needs to change, or it gets very repetitive, and that's what watching Titanfall, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of, once you've seen all the crazy moments that can happen, like Golden Boy for the win had a moment where he launched out of his Titan, someone else was being dropped onto the map, and he shot them out of the air and killed them, and it was pretty epic. You know, once you've seen most of those moments, and these big Titanfall brawls where there's like 7 Titans all just going at it and punching and shooting each other, there's some pretty cool moments in the game, but once you've seen them all, I just don't know if it continues like Battlefield 4 to continue providing stuff that you've never seen. Like, I didn't even know that was possible. So we'll see. I'm not counting Titanfall out, but I do agree with you guys. There's no way that Titanfall's taking out Call of Duty, and here is the main reason. You heard it here first. In order for a game to take out Call of Duty, it has to adopt the COD cycle of coming out with a new game every year, and I don't believe any single gaming studio has the ability to do that. I don't think Respawn has the ability, the resources, and the manpower to put out a brand new Titanfall every single year. Call of Duty has figured it out. You have multiple studios, and now they're moving to 3. You have multiple studios produce the game, and you can produce a game every single year. Same thing that Assassin's Creed does. They have different studios making the game. That's the only way you could do it. And so, and I know a lot of these sports games are able to do it, but the sports game studios are huge. They're gigantic. And if you notice, they don't change very much every year. The players look the same. The mechanics are basically the same. They don't change a lot about the games because they can't. You know, and so I think that Titanfall is great. It's going to be an interesting game, a fun game. Chances of taking out Call of Duty are nil. So a little bit of drama went down in the UK this week, and you guys have heard about it, and so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I interviewed Rage, my UK correspondent. I interviewed him about it, and basically this whole thing with Team YouTube, which is FearCrads' team, the pub stomper on YouTube, his pro team went up against an actual pro team, and they're like an amateur team, you know, but they went up against an actual pro team, and a little bit of drama went down because the pro team was talking a lot of mess before the match, during the match, and even on Freight Blitz when they were shooting bodies. Like every time they killed someone, they would shoot bodies, to the point where they let TYT come back in the game and get within 1 point, and with a minute left in the game, one of their teammates on Orbit lagged out, and so they played the rest of the game out, and Orbit immediately said, "Can we replay that?" FearCrads and his teammates on TYT looked at each other and said no. They said, "We're not replaying that map." Orbit went crazy. They went bananas. Now Orbit went to COD Champs last year. They've played at Gfinities. They've played here in the States. Orbit is a good pro team, and they went bananas. They went crazy, and they were down 2-1 as a result of dropping that map. And then TYT won the next map and beat them 3-1, and Orbit took to Twitter, Instagram, anything they could to cuss and yell and scream about how upset they were, how frustrated they were with TYT. Now, there's a lot of varying opinions on whether or not TYT did the right thing. I do know that Orbit was going way over the top with their amount of screaming and cussing and yelling. So over the top that Orbit, the organization, dropped the entire team. Now, we've seen this before with Epsilon dropping Impact after their crazy outbursts that they had when they were yelling at the crowd and yelling at Envious at UMG. And so this was very similar to where Orbit went bananas, the 4 players. But here's the result. Yes, they all got dropped from their organization. They don't have a sponsor anymore. They're going to let them stay in the tournament, and they have to beat Epsilon pretty much to make it out of the tournament and to the LAN. But they're going to stay in the tournament. If they make it to the LAN, Rage has told me that he's pretty sure that somebody else will pick them up. But it looks like, as a result of that match specifically, that FearCrads and his team are going to make it to the LAN in London for the qualifiers for COD Champs. Now, they're probably not going to make it out of there. It would be like, you know, some local amateur team making it to the regionals in Orlando at Full Sail. It would be pretty obvious they're probably not going to make it out, but they have a chance. They definitely have a chance. I'm not counting FearCrads' team out. So you guys can go, if you go to FearCrads' channel, he talks a lot about it, and it's actually really interesting. So this week also, Major League Gaming, I'm very excited about this. They released information about another league that starts tomorrow and runs all the way until April 11th to 13th, where they're going to have playoffs at PAX East. And the reason this is cool is that it runs through the COD Champs. So there's going to be COD Champs, and then there's still going to be more gameplay going on. The last league, the Winter Invitational, was great. It was very entertaining to watch. It gave us Call of Duty to watch every single day. And now they've even added in the weekend to this league so that there's going to be games on Sunday. Now, I don't know how they're going to play around COD Champs and how they're going to play around regionals, but I'm sure they've already figured that out. The good thing about this, and the exciting thing about it, there's 10 teams playing in it. Okay, so let's test Kingdom Soldier, and let's see if you guys can do this as well, because you're my co-caster in this. You know, you're helping me right now. You're doing the show with me. So here we go. We're gonna try to name the 10 teams off the top of our heads. So we've got Optic Gaming. That's an easy one. We've got SB, we've got FaZe, we've got Justice, we've got Cursed Little Kids Daycare, we've got Cursed New York, we've got Curse LV, we've got TK, we've got Envy, and oh, I'm forgetting one team. It's got to be a top team. Did I name Curse LV? Ding, 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 ding. All 10. You guys are going to tell me if I already named Curse LV and I just failed, and you're going to type in the comments like crazy. No, you didn't name whoever it is. So those are the 10 teams, and basically they all have to play each other. Each team gets played 36 times, 180 games over a month-long period. I'm really excited about it. You know, I had an interesting conversation with Puckett the other day. Who knows? You know, you may see your boy Kingdom Soldier one day. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say much. Nothing's official or anything like that, but I did have an interesting conversation with Puckett via Skype, and we just talked. We had an interesting conversation. So you guys let me know. What would you like to see me do with MLG? What would you guys like to see me do? Now, I'll tell you this. I do not think I would be a good caster. So throw that out the window. What would you like to see me do with MLG? Just let me know. Just kind of throw it out there, and we'll just talk about that. So, also this week, the blacklisting of Optic Gaming took place, and I did a whole video on this, and it was a great video, and it was a wonderful video because it was tweeted out by Hex. Optic Nadeshot the same day tweeted at me and said that my videos were interesting. Now, I don't know if this is true. Somebody told me that Optic Nadeshot has only done 2 shoutouts using his Twitter. One was himself and one was me. Now, I don't know how I found myself in that company. You know, I messaged Hex and I just said, you know, I am so just, I'm floored at the generosity of Optic Gaming. Optic Diesel has followed me and mentioned me on Twitter. Foreplay hit me up. Revan tweeted out that my videos were good for competitive Call of Duty. This week has been amazing for me, and it kind of started with the blacklisting of Optic, and I just did a video where I was very honest, where I was very open. Now, it has 22,000 views, so I'm sure most of you have seen it. If you haven't, I would definitely check it out. I talk about what the blacklisting, what it revealed about competitive Call of Duty and pro gamers, and I'm not a pro gamer, so I can't say much about how it feels to get attacked by Optic fans. But I know a little bit of it, because when I put out my video about repairing the green wall that has over 300 dislikes on it, I got some hate. I got some, and then on Twitter, when Optic started winning, everybody the next day was throwing stuff at me, throwing tweets at me, and so I've experienced a little bit of it, and what I've come to realize is that I'm the professional, you know, and all I am is I'm a professional content creator. This is what I do, and I don't do this for a living in any way, shape, or form. I don't get even close to enough views to do this for a living, but I'm very thankful for all the views I get and all the subscribers I have. But the blacklisting was really, it was an example of stepping way outside of professionalism, and I'm happy with what MLG is doing with this league, because basically they killed the whole blacklisting. Like, I don't care if you don't want to scrim Optic Gaming, but you're going to play against them, and if you don't, you're going to forfeit and give them a win, which is not what you want to do. And so there's a whole bunch of pro teams involved in the blacklisting, and you guys can just go check out my video. I released it this week. It's kind of funny. I recorded it in my closet for crazy reasons, but you guys can go check out that video. It was really good. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is that I am about to hit 1 million views on YouTube and 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, for some reason, YouTube has stuck my channel at 17,988 subscribers for the last 4 days, but I'm actually at 18,983 subscribers at the moment that I'm making this video, so I don't understand why it's stuck. I have about 1,000 more subscribers than YouTube is showing, and people keep tweeting at me, you're almost at 18,000, and I'm like, actually, you know, thanks, but I'm almost at 19,000, and I don't know what it's doing. Hopefully it's going to fix. However, I want to show you guys how much I appreciate you. So, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to release all the details tomorrow in top 3 competitive vids of the week, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a vague description of what I'm going to do in my 1 million subscriber appreciation. I'm going to give every single one of you that creates content an opportunity to see your content on my channel. Now, if you guys have seen, if you saw March Madness, commentator March Madness, that I think it was like Woody and a couple other guys put together, 3 years ago. It's going to be similar to that, but I'm not going to put up all the videos. All I'm going to do is allow you, and I'm going to tell you where tomorrow, I'm going to allow you to send me any video. I don't care if it's already been on your channel or you can make a brand new one. I'm going to allow you to send me any video, and you're going to send it to me in however I tell you to tomorrow in top 3 competitive vids of the week. And hopefully I get hundreds. I want a lot of them. Send me any video, your best. Send your best. I'm going to whittle it down to 10, and then I'm probably going to do a podcast with one of my friends on Twitter, Jamal. I'm going to do a podcast and show you guys the top 10, and then we're going to whittle it down to 3, and I'm going to use those 3 and have a very special episode of top 3 competitive vids of the week with your videos, and I'm going to shout out your channels, all that kind of stuff. You never know, maybe one of you will make it on the STiKS, whoever is the top video, and that's how I can show my appreciation. I don't have a lot of stuff I can buy for you guys, but I really appreciate all of the views. I appreciate all of the subscribers, all of the support. I really, you know, it's great that Optic Gaming and Hex and Puckett and Revan and everybody, it's great that all these guys are talking to me, but what is really meaningful to me is the tweets that I get from you guys, is the support that I get from you guys, is that when you randomly tweet at me, I'm looking forward to the STiKS this week, I'm so excited for it, on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and you talk to me about my videos, and you guys have said I deserve this, and people are tweeting at me, let's grow, and it's all amazing, and I just want to show my appreciation for you guys. So I'm going to release the details to that tomorrow. We've got the MLG League kicking off tomorrow. The Titanfall beta is still going. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode of the STiKS, where I can have somebody on to kind of co-host the show with me. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.